Hello and welcome back to another dynamic duo podcast. Today, if you don't know the subject of topic, well, he's kind of in the background, but there's also my main man, Danny Watkins, to the left, also known as MMA King Chris Jr. Well, right,
What's, go-
left.
what's going on, guys? What's going on? How y'all doing?
So, Danny, sir, after months and months of preparation, of waiting for the new DCU and wondering what the hell was going on with James Gunn and what was going to happen, and everybody getting their panties in a bunch, all because Crypto wasn't the right breed of dog, or David Cornsway just looks like a budget Henry Cavill. Let's get on to the topic at hand Superman 2025. So, did we like it? Did we not? Let's just jump right into it. So, I'll let Danny take it ahead first because I've not heard his opinion just yet. So, I'm curious.
So, first of all, before I give my point of view, it's good to be back. I also already did a video already on my point of view, but I don't mind redoing the points. So, if you want to see a full video by myself, go to For the Homies podcast YouTube page. But so basically, man, I enjoyed it or whatever. Is it a perfect movie? No, it's not a perfect movie. There's a lot of problems with it, but there's also a lot of good things in it. Um, Definitely, the problems is a little bit too much comedy, which I think you might agree with me, and also the pacing was like way too fast. I think the story was going way too quick, but for the most part, David Cornswood did his thing. Rachel Brosnan did her thing as Lois Lane. I love those two as Clark and Lois. Me personally, I think this movie is better than Man of Steel. Like as a comic book movie or whatever. Just like it's more fun. It's not a dark Superman. But once again, I have to for all you Snyder bros in my video. I even showed you that I got the Snyder. I literally got the Snyder movies just to so there ain't no James Gunn glazing around here. Like I like some of the Snyder movies, but for me, I think this is a solid start of the DCU. I mean, once again, there's some problems in this movie, and I think one of the main problems is like we didn't really get enough Lois and Clark in it, and also the Superman parents fiasco. I think that's one of the major things that a lot of people are having problems with this movie, and they're saying that Superman was getting beaten up too much. Which me personally, I think he did. Like I like a Superman that we can all relate with. In my
Mhm.
opinion, this Superman is sort of like Rocky Balboa. He keeps on getting beaten up, but he keeps on giving back. He keeps on getting back up and not giving up, however. And I think that's like the a good start to say like, hey, this Superman's not overpowered like all the other ones in the past, and that's kind of. I've been long winded. How do you think about this? What do you think about this movie, man?
Well, for me, now fuck the Snyder fans. I don't give a shit at this point. I'm sick and tired of them trying to ruin movies just because their panties are in a twist. Fuck yous. Anyway, well, ultimately, I actually enjoyed the Superman movie the most out of all of them. I even enjoyed it more than Man of Steel. Like, the funny thing is, I actually really enjoyed it. Yes, I can admit that there's comedy bits where I'm like, okay, this is a James Gunn special. Of course I can. But my biggest issue is that people are hating on it a bit too much when it comes to certain aspects, like a vulnerable Superman, something we've never seen. Really good, in my opinion. It's good to see him struggle because he might be Superman, but he still struggles. And
Yeah,
also, it makes Lex Luthor look fucking dominant. And in the comics series, Lex Luthor is one of the big main bad guys that can constantly outsmart Superman, and it's great. And also, I just have to point out Nicholas Holt's phenomenal take on Lex Luthor was
yeah,
fucking phenomenal, dude. Like that,
yeah,
like you wanted his ass to get beat by the end of that movie. You wanted to see him get his ass beat.
yeah.
Not many Lex
Way better
Luthors
than
can
Jesse
make you want that.
Eisenberg easily. Way better than
Mhm.
Jesse Eisenberg. It's a big upgrade.
Dude, I would argue it's probably the best take on Lex Luthor we've ever seen in a live action movie because not only did it make you want to you wanted to fuck him up. Never mind Superman, right? You wanted to fuck him
Yeah.
up. You wanted to see him get fucked up. And also on top of that, he made it so believable to the point you're like, holy shit, this man hates Superman. Like, he has a fucking hatred for this guy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, you know? He's like, that is the character. He smashed it out of the park. There is some updated things that I'm like, okay, I could have done without. And that is stuff like, you know, for example, that weird woman that's taking selfies everywhere. She was a bit annoying, but at the same time, it did have a story purpose. So I'll give
Jimmy
it a
was a
pass on
player,
that.
though. Jimmy was
And
a player.
they got Jimmyolsen right for a change. Yeah, he was nerdy, but he's a man. He gets the girls, and that's what he was like in this movie. And it's like,
Yeah.
so many people sleep on that character, especially when it comes to the Superman movies. He's not very predominantly like focused on, which in the comics he is. So not only are we getting a comic accurate Superman, where I believe David Cornsweet, he was the hope. He wanted to fight for humanity. Yes,
Yeah.
I understand that people might be annoyed at the fact that his parents said, you know, go and make a harem and stuff.
James Gunn actually said that that's what they said. So, like, you know,
Fair
James
enough.
Gunn said in an interview that like he wanted to change up the lore just a little bit with Superman's parents. But I'm like, okay, I mean, it's your
To be
vision.
fair, right?
That's fine. You know, it's one of them things of I can. This is one of the things where I can see why people are mad, and I won't even be mad at them because you know that's their. You know, it,
It's almost like they had some
yeah.
inspiration from a certain someone, you know, like, you know, just a certain someone.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, like you know, the Saiyans copied off of the Kryptonians. Like this is like everybody
Full
keeps on
circle.
saying that Superman's parents are like Voltrumites and Saiyans. I'm like, you realize in some comic iterations, Superman and the Kryptonians like did the same thing as those guys, and Superman's older than both of those IPs combined. So you know.
Do
It's
people
just
forget
yeah,
about like the whole plot line of Zod? Like, he's a
yeah,
Kryptonian trying to dominate other planets. So it would make sense that his family had the same sort of morals. It's just that they're playing on a thing that's less being serious. I can understand why people are annoyed at it. Don't get me wrong. But I think it makes it extra special the fact that
it's
he
different.
chooses to be human. You know, he chooses to be the man. You know, he chooses
Yeah,
to be like his on Earth parents. Like, that is something we've never discovered, like went through before, discovered or seen. So it's quite interesting. But the thing is right, Lois and Clark, not like David Cornsweet and the actress. I'm sorry, you said her name. I'm very bad with names.
Rachel Broston.
Yeah,
I think
they
that's how you said.
killed it as those two
Yeah,
characters. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of screen time with them, but you believed that they were into each other. You believed that
yeah,
there was a connection there that was undeniable and that it's going to go the test of time, right? My
yeah,
biggest issue with the fans that hate on this, right, is that most of them are just Snyder fans that don't really know the comic lore. Like, other than the slight wee change that they've done with the whole backstory, this is Superman. He's the guy that so he spends most of the time of the movie saving. He saved a squirrel. Like, that's
yeah,
Superman. Everybody's like,
yeah,
probably other people are like, oh, that's stupid, but he's a hero. He saves everyone, not just
yeah,
humans. And it's what he's done in the comic books for centuries. He's done it with
yeah,
cats, squirrels, and it's realistic to the character. And yeah, I know
yeah,
people are like, it doesn't always have to be comic accurate, but I'm fucking sick and tired of people saying that. And then when it's not comic accurate, coming out of the woodworks and being like, it's
yeah.
not comic accurate. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, if you
So
can't,
this is my thing. This is my thing. And once again, I said it in my video. This is not shots. These are not shots at my peers. Like you know, my peers that I like that look up into the fellowship like Critical Drinker and like Gary from Neurotic and all those guys. Just go check their channels out. They're freaking amazing. They're funny as hell. I like them. And the great thing is we can all disagree and we're still friends at the end of the day. My thing is this. Uh we're getting to the point to where like okay, if you like you keep on complaining that saying that you know Superman you can't relate with Superman because he's a godlike being. You know, I can't relate with him. That's
Mhm.
why I like. That's why I like Batman, or that's why I like Captain America. Because I just can't relate with Superman because you know he's this godlike being. He can do whatever he wants to, and that's why I can't relate to him. Okay, fine. All right, you know what? You're 100% correct. You know what? I'm the same way. I was the same way. But the moment we take Superman's power level down to make it kind of closer to his enemies or whatever, or like Superman is getting kind of whooped a little bit, or like, you know, like I said, he's like having like a Rocky type of moment of like, you know, okay, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna get back up. I'm gonna get back up. Let's go. Come on, eyes up here. Like when he's fighting the kaiju or whatever, people are saying like, "Oh no, that's not my Superman. My Superman doesn't get beaten up like that. My Superman doesn't get emotional and cry and everything like that." And I'm like, okay, so where do you? Oh, are you making the Superman up in your head on what you? I get it. You probably love Christopher Reeve's Superman, and you know what? He is the gold standard. He's pretty much the god of Superman. You ain't we like between him and George Reeves and everything. They're not those guys are like the gold standard when it comes to Superman. But you know, there is like other iterations where people like once again, I like Tom Welling more than I like Christopher Reeve. I like
Yeah,
I
I'm the
mean
same.
I like David Cornsweet more than I like Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeve and everything. Like to me, I like those Supermen better. And then if I'm counting the voice actors of Superman from the animated series and Justice League Unlimited, those are a little bit more better to me or whatever because you know they were more humanist or whatever. Like you can kind of relate with them a little bit or whatever.
Yeah.
No offense to like you know Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeves. I think like their fans are really passionate or whatever. Like they they got
let's just say
they're
what it
their
is.
points. Yeah.
Let's just say what it is. It's the Toby, Andrew, Tom Holland
Yeah.
argument over Superman, and that's fine to have. See, for me,
Yeah.
right? I'm the same as you. I can agree with what people say, right? When I was younger, I used to not like Superman because to me, it's like I even told you at first I wasn't a big fan of Superman. It wasn't until Smallville and actually getting to know more of the lore and understanding his character, like I was like, oh yeah, he's the most powerful god, but you flash a green rock in his face. Ooh, like. But what I then realized is that I was way off for that. I was like, oh, I'm completely wrong.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, and that's what people need to realize. You're wrong. You don't know the character, right? I knew more about the character when I watched Man of Steel, and I still knew that yes, Henry Cavill was the best looking Superman. You can always say that, right? He was the best one that you could arguably say that looked the best,
The
right?
movies didn't make any money.
The movies didn't make money. The scripts were terrible. The Lois in it was terrible. The chemistry was terrible. And not even that, they had him killing people. And I get it. You like the Injustice comics, even though it's not a real comic issue. It was a comic issue made for games for the Injustice God Among Us. Don't get me wrong. Some people love those comics, but that's not Superman, right? David Cornsweet is what Superman is. He's saving children. He's saving squirrels. He's being a Boy Scout. His nickname is the Boy Scout, right? This is the
Big Blue.
Superman. Yeah. This is the Superman that gives advice to Dick Grayson to go away and become Nightwing. This is what I like to see because that means there's a bigger chance of actually seeing a good, decent Robin for once going forward in the DC. And people need to also remember that if this fails or if it was to fail, it's smashing box office record. So you know fine well this is going to get more and more, and especially with the DCU going forward, right? You need it to succeed. Otherwise, we're just going to get another repeat of the DCAU where nothing is working. You've got about 60 movies with people you don't give a crap about, and then you get a movie that comes and connects them all. And depending on what your take is, you either prefer the 3-hour version with everything that was removed put back in it, or you get the weird cut that is so jank that you don't even know what the hell's happening half of the time. And you get a buff Aquaman that makes no fucking sense. Don't get me wrong, love Jason Momoa, but he's Lobo, and that's what he's going to be cast as in this DCU. And it makes more sense. He's not Aquaman. Aquaman wasn't meant to be dark and edgy, just the same way Superman's not supposed to be dark and edgy, right? I get it. Like, people want to say that this is not a really good take on Superman. Ironically, you know who they're arguing against? Stan Lee, because you know what Stan Lee said if he invented Superman, he'd make him more vulnerable and make him more human. And ironically, James Gunn goes and does that, and everybody is up in arms, or you have these weirdos dressed up in bat suits going to protest the David Corn Sweat movie, and we're going to do all this for the Snyderverse. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't have an ultimate issue with the Snyderverse. It's the fans that have took it way
Fans.
too
Yeah.
far. Like, yes, you can less like a version of a character. I don't like the Dark Knight version of Batman. A lot of people disagree with me on that.
Same
But
here.
I'm not going to go outside with a signpost saying you should not go watch The Dark Knight if it re-releases. You're allowed to watch what you like. It's ridiculous that you have to even talk about this in the context of comic book movies, right? That's like
Yeah.
someone going away and protesting the fact that Tom Holland got cast as Spider-Man, right? What's
Yeah.
the point? Yes, don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill's great. And we have a friend very dedicated to Henry Cavill.
Shout out to you, Jacob.
Yeah. But the issue is, you can't just constantly go, well, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill would have been the best Batman and the best Superman. Don't get me wrong, if they had a better storyline, probably. But the thing is, it's like you've got to let that go now. Even Zack Snyder himself is like, I'm done with that. I'm moving on. He's making terrible Rebel Moon movies instead. Like, just let him do his thing. Like, I get it.
Hold on. This is how you know that Zack Snyder thinks his fans are crazy. They did an episode with Rick and Morty with James Gunn and Zack Snyder, like making fun of both extreme fans on their side. So therefore, they're watching what you guys are doing, bro. Like they think you guys are weird.
Like, don't get me wrong, I get it, right? You love comics and you love your DC characters, but let's be real, half the fans of Superman, Batman, even the Marvel series now, right? You weren't fans to begin with. You waited until everybody was on the hype train, you jumped on it, you made this weird version of Superman, a weird version of Batman, a weird version of Spider-Man, all in your head. And when it doesn't match it completely to what you think the character is, you throw a hissy fit. It's like a toddler getting his toy taken away. And that's my biggest issue with it. It's like, I want to see people enjoying it. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Like, I would give it, ironically, Danny, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. Like, if they just trimmed back on the humor and they focused a bit more on the story and it was a bit longer, it'd have been the perfect Superman movie. You got to see
going
Superman.
way too fast. It was way too fast. That's the I think even people that love this movie or hate this movie all agree that this movie was way too fast. And you know what? I'm going to give James. I don't usually do this for a lot of directors. Anybody that knows me or whatever. I'm gonna get, and I'm a James Gunn fan too. So like, if this comes off being biased, fine, I'll take the L or whatever. But let's get, because the argument is saying like, oh, James Gunn should have not done this movie. Okay, fair enough. Who are you gonna cast to do this movie? Do you really think that James should? Okay, Adam, if you're beginning a universe. Like you're starting out a universe and this is your main hero and this is Superman or whatever. Would you trust any other director with this movie? Despite even though that you might not get the character like 100% correct, because like, you know, James Gunn even said in the past, like there's they came to him for years on doing a Superman movie and he had to turn it down because, you know, he didn't know he couldn't crack the character or whatever. But now that he finally cracked the character or whatever, because you know he's the CEO and he's basically the head honcho. Do you give this movie to somebody else, or do you gonna do it in the best of your ability on what you're good at, and then like see where it lies? What would you think? What would you do?
Definitely not. Who else could have done a comic book movie, right? There's so many great directors out there. Don't get me wrong. There's great storytellers, right?
And I don't think James Gunn should have been the one to do this movie, by the way. Like, a lot of people think, like, I'm just, like, you know, I have plenty of conversations, but go ahead and finish.
For me, not necessarily so. Like, I think a lot of people, there could be better contenders, I guess, but let's be real, right? Would you rather James Gunn, someone who you know can keep as much as he possibly can? Like, this is prime example. He kept it very comic accurate with a few slight changes, right? You look at the Star Wars sequels. Ryan Johnson was like, you know what? We've got a story they're going to tell. You know what? I'm just going to come in and switch it halfway through, so then it switches the next movie. I'd rather have one cook in the kitchen that does it so close to the character with a slight few changes than someone who comes in and changes it all completely or keeps him the dark, depressing Superman we've seen about 600 million times. Because let's be real, he's not Batman. He's the contrast to Batman. He always has been. He's the hope. He's the dark hope. It's a mirror image of one another. He's what
Yeah.
Batman is what Superman would be if he had the same upbringing, and vice versa. They're the same thing but different, and that's what I think a lot of people get mixed up on those characters. So for me, James Gunn is the better choice out of most of the other directors I saw get chucked around.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. That's why I tell people, like, are you gonna trust somebody with the Porsche on the very first movie? Like, because all right, let's just say the director, like, let's just say James Gunn didn't direct this movie, and he gave it to somebody else because, hey, I can't crack Superman. I'm gonna give it to somebody else or whatever, and that person fails. You know who they're gonna blame? Guess who
James
they're gonna
Gunn.
blame? They're gonna blame James Gunn. So either way, he was screwed. Either way, either he needed to do it for himself, or if he gave it to somebody, it's 50-50. Like, either it's gonna fail or it's gonna be good or whatever.
Yeah, no, like that's the point, right? For me, right? This is the best Superman movie I've seen in a long time. Even the fact that who the hell thought Nathan Fillion would be such a great Guygardner? I don't know, because
Yeah,
I love Nathan Fillion, but let's be real. When people saw that, it was a bit of a weird casting, but he killed it in the role. He was a believable douche, but he had his hero moments, and that's what Guygardner is in the comics. I was like, wow, we've
Mr. Terrific did good too.
Oh, Mr. Terrific was one of the badass characters I've ever seen in that movie. And see, this I'm going to say this because I know it's going to piss some people off. That's how you do representation, right? That's how
Yeah,
you do it right. The character was
yeah,
badass. That is the character, and they done it correctly. They didn't do any pandering shit. They didn't say, "Look, he's helping because he's the black guy." No, he helped because he was a great character, and that's the thing I liked about it. He
and
was
he was
unique,
almost about to
fresh.
steal Lois away from Superman. The way-
The dude had so much as well as cringy as it is, as shout out to my boy Gian. He had aura, right? He had aura the
yeah,
entire movie, right?
yeah,
But that's what you want from your characters. Like he didn't feel forced into the storyline. He didn't feel like he was there just to fill a fucking tick in a box. He was a great character. I actually liked a lot of his scenes. Sometimes I was like, oh, wait, I could watch a whole movie about this guy. Where
yeah,
it's the same with Guy Gardner. I was like, I can't wait to see how he interacts with Hal and all the other lanterns. It'll be cool. This is what I
yeah,
want to see in a DC. And the fact that
yeah,
people are still out there hating on it makes me kind of annoys me because it's like, right, we finally got a comic book accurate like Superman, minus a few changes, right? But people are still complaining, and I'm like, but you complained that when Henry Cavill's movies first came out, all of y'all were sitting saying he was too dark and he killed people. Then a few years pass, and then he's all automatically the best Superman ever known to man. Then David Cornsweet gets cast. Oh, look at the budget of Henry Cavill, who I could argue done a better voice for Superman because when he switched from Clark Kent to Miss Lane, that's what sold
love
everybody
Miss
because
Lane.
it was the voice change. That's what
Yeah,
Superman needs. And I like the fact that I don't know if it was just my cinema. I don't know if it was a movie. The aspect ratio and the way it was, instead of being the full screen of the cinema for us, it was like an older movie. It was smaller. Like it
four
was
by three.
it was 4:3. That is a good thing because it gives you a little throwback. And how many movies these days are actually shot in 4:3? Not many. So not only was it artistically smart, as closest to the character we've ever got. Yeah, Crypto's the wrong breed of dog, but who really cares? He's a white dog. That's all Crypto is. He's a white dog. He could be any breed, right?
Yeah,
We got a great Mr. Fantastic. We got a great Guy Gardner. We got a phenomenal Lex Luthor, a phenomenal Lois Lane, a
you said
phenomenal,
fantastic. You meant terrific.
yeah, terrific, fantastic,
Yeah,
terrific. They've all
yeah,
got similar names, all right?
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
confuse them sometimes.
I
Like
wish
that's what
that
you're.
Hawkgirl and Metamorpho would have done a little bit more. Like those two, like they like you could take them out of the movie and you wouldn't even miss them or whatever.
Yeah, no, I get
Um,
what you're saying, but at the same time, it was
yeah,
the fact that they were calling them the Justice guys. You know what they're setting up, but they're making it way off
the
into the
Justice
future.
Gang.
The
Yeah,
Justice Gang, yeah, that's what I like about it. They're planting seeds, but they're not doing like I sat waiting for a post-credit scene, and they trolled you, and I loved it. It was just what you're
yeah,
seeing on the screen right now. It was great. I'm
yeah,
like, see, this is what you need. You don't give out too much information about the next one because
yeah,
ultimately we don't know, but I have a strong suspicion that Batman 2 is probably going to start connecting into this because
yeah,
even if they do have, Batman Brave and the Bold, they didn't state that it couldn't be Robert Pattinson. It could just be him
yeah.
later on in life, which wouldn't surprise me.
It, and I've been going back and forth with this with all the boys. I'm like, I mean, I personally don't care if Robert's in the DCU, even though I do want Jensen Ackles because he basically does everything that Batman does, like sing, dance, all that stuff, and be charismatic and a
Uh,
playboy at the same time. But if he
don't
doesn't
get
get it,
me.
that's perfectly fine. Robert Pattinson comes into DCU. I ain't got a problem with it. The only thing that I keep on saying is I just want the Batman to be fantastical, and that's it. Like I want him to just fight like Bane and Killer Croc and all of those guys and everything. Like I want a
Clayface
fantastical
or
Batman
loislane.
back. That's it. Yeah.
Don't get
And
me wrong.
another
If they
yeah.
didn't do that, then I would want Jensen Ackles. He is probably the second best option. Either that or the guy that plays Reacher, which is John Ri- Richardson. That guy.
Alan Richardson. Alan Richardson.
Alan Richardson. See, I always mix up the names, man. I'm getting
Yeah.
annoyed at that. But Alan Richardson.
Now just a few things like I said that I did not like about the movie. Once again, the fast pace, the a little bit of the character change. I know that's in some comic book lore. Shout out to my boy Phantom X. Like he was telling me, like a little bit. There's Kryptonians that actually try to take over the planet or whatever. And spread their seeds or whatever. So that's comic book accurate. Another thing, James Gunn. I for once I'm gonna say I'm a little offended because you made fun of Southerners, okay? Like with Clark Kent's parents. Okay, listen. Like I understand, like this opinion of the South, thinking that we kind of like a bunch of redneck hillbillies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Southern hospitality. But come on, dog. Like why
Well,
you gonna
fair
do
enough.
a mom, pa Ken like that, man? Like acting like they're like a bunch of stereotypical hillbillies, man. Like,
To be fair, I can give you that one. But see, for me, like what I think ultimately for me, what solidified this movie as a good movie for me was the fact that I could
yeah,
actually switch off and enjoy it. It's been a long time
yeah,
since
it
I've
was
been
fun.
able to do that with me. It's been a long time since I've been
It's
able to do that.
yeah, it's fun. Now another thing that I'm a little okay. I'm gonna be on the record. I'm not gonna go watch. I'm not gonna go watch Supergirl. I don't care about it enough or whatever. Like um
I was waiting for you to bring
okay,
her up, but to be fair, I'll give my piece on that after you.
yeah, like I get what they're doing with the. I mean, because this is a comic book. Like me, Kevin was explaining to me inside the chat that that Supergirl gets drunk off of the red sun or whatever, and she's a party girl in a particular comic book. I get it, but I don't like it. However, that's not me personally. I wouldn't introduce Supergirl like that. And also, I didn't really like it when she called him a bitch at the end. That kind of just, as a Superman fan, I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like
Okay.
this. But yeah, but other than that, that's my main criticism with the DCU. And that's another thing that James Gunn said, that it's not, you don't have to do homework to watch the movies or whatever. So like so the Clayface movie, I'm a little interested in the Lantern's TV show and Peacemaker, I'm interested. I don't really care about Supergirl. What do you think about Supergirl?
See, the thing for me is, right, I actually like the take because don't get me wrong, like, yeah, it's different from what we've seen, right? But I didn't hate the CW version of Supergirl. I know it had some boss girl moments in it, but she was a
Mhm.
great overall Supergirl. But I want like the character is lesser known. It's well better than the Flash Supergirl, whatever the hell that was. Come on, let's be real, man. Like she may be a
Hey man, that girl was fine though, man. She was. Mm,
well,
uh.
yeah, but for me, I don't focus on that. I try to focus on the like the
But
actual character. And don't get me wrong, she
but
was
she was not that
badass.
bad.
Like
She
she was
was pretty
probably
badass.
better. She was probably one of the better parts of that movie. I'll give her that, right? But I like the traditional long blonde hair Supergirl, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, she might be a bit drunk and a bit stupid, but also I actually like the fact that she called Superman a bitch because it felt like a cousin dynamic. Like that, like
Yeah,
how many times have you hung out with your cousin and you were like toy fighting or you were doing something and you're like, shut up, bitch. Like to me, that
yeah,
makes it seem more realistic, like they're family that way. Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
some people might dislike it. I get that. I understand why you don't like it. That's fair. But to
yeah,
me, I did find that part a little funny. And yeah, it's like quite weird to see that Crypto's apparently her dog, but you know,
yeah,
yeah, is what it is. But for me, I would say I'm interested in seeing where they go with it. I'd watch it. Um,
yeah. I'll
you
probably
know, I
watch it
would
because of Lobo more than Supergirl or whatever. Like, that would
yeah.
be my thing.
See,
Yeah,
I'm curious obviously Lobo, but
yeah,
for me, I'm also curious what they're gonna do with her. Because remember, she's only starting out as the drunk party girl. We don't know if that continues on. She might turn into the Supergirl that we know, and this is just the
yeah,
origin story of her, which would make more sense because
yeah,
James Gunn likes to play the long game. So
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you read the comic book for Supergirl, Man of Tomorrow, I mean, Woman of Tomorrow, or whatever, like, it explain like they basically said it's a frame by frame live action from the comic book. So I never read it, so I could be 100% wrong, and like I don't I might enjoy it. I'm not sure, but I I can't say that I cared about Supergirl like that because um I'm more interested on where they're gonna do with Batman. And once again, I like what James Gunn said about Batman. He already admitted that I have to get Batman correct. Like, it's not gonna be a goofy Batman or anything like that. We're gonna get a serious Batman take or whatever, but it's gonna be fantastical at the same time. He already has a Batman writer, which I think Matt Reeves is probably helping him on the side or whatever. That's just my opinion because he never name dropped. Um, and yeah, I'm more interested in what's happening with Batman, and more interested in me personally. I think Wonder Woman should be the first female superhero to represent the DCU. But that's just me, or whatever,
yeah,
instead of
fair
Superman.
enough. That you can have a fair argument on that. See, for me, like, don't get me wrong, I love Wonder Woman and I love the character, but
Yeah,
like you, if Superman already had a bad situation, you know what people are going to do with the whole new Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot. Even though the second one was terrible, but the first one was somewhat decent, so you know what's going to happen. If they were to bring
yeah,
her
they're
out
gonna
right
cook.
now, what would happen would be essentially the
Yeah,
same thing. We're boycotting this because there's no Gal Gadot, and everybody's gonna be like, "Well, what's the fucking point then?" Like, so
yeah,
that's my issue with just going forward with the DCU. I'm excited for a lot of the stuff. I can't wait to see what they do with the Flash. Hopefully, they give us an actual screen accurate Barry Allen, just like the first
the
few
Lantern
seasons of the
show too.
Flash, the first
I'm
few
interested.
seasons of the CW. Hopefully,
Yeah,
hey, I would even be against if they casted an like if they were going to do the Wally West stuff, like cast an older Grant Gustin to be the Barry Allen to his Wally West and how to teach him. And even if that means he gets, offed in one of the movies, it would be a nice emotional moment. Then it gives weight to that character even more. And that would be nice to see because I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing like fan castings of a lot of these characters because I'm not no offense to the people out there, but some of your choices, man, are terrible. And I'm like, this guy looks nothing like the character. And I've seen them in a few things, and their acting isn't that great either. So it's like, please
Yeah,
don't listen. There is certain people that have chucked certain names in. I'm like, okay, I can see that working, but we need
yeah,
something. Or even if he does play Henry Allen, just like how the original dad from the CW show did as his dad, I would be fine with that. Because to be fair, the issue that I'm having with a lot of the DC realm of any opinions at the minute is simply because everybody's trying to stay in the past, right? The only one that I could guarantee you that I would be okay with coming back, right, would be Grant Gustin, because he needs. If he had the movies, I think they would perform way better than what they did with the other. I don't know what to refer to them now because they've changed their fucking things about 60 million times. So I don't want to offend anyone by getting it wrong. So, you know, but
yeah,
that's my thing. It's like, I want them to start doing stuff way more like David Cornsweet and lesser known actors that are passionate about the actual
yeah,
character. Like, he killed it as Superman. Like, to be honest, I
yeah,
was shocked at how well he done as Superman. The
yeah.
4:3 ratio, it felt like a Superman. Nicholas Hoult, I cannot say it again. It's probably
Nicholas Hoult did
arguably
really good.
he's arguably the best Lex Luthor. Just it's between him and the what's his name again
Michael
from
Rosenbaum.
Yep. It's those two are the top two of all time when it comes to Lex
Well, he did
Luthors,
say
right?
he studied off of Michael Rosenbaum, and like Michael Rosenbaum was giving him some pointers on set on how to be a better Lex or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these characters were so great, and a lot of them were so comic book accurate. And the fact
Yeah,
that like the storylines lined up with what Superman was doing, the fact that the public turned on him and he was still willing to fight for them, and it's like
yeah,
it may have been for a reason that people might not like as much, but I loved it. It felt like Superman. So if he's done this well with this, I'm excited to see what he does with the rest
yeah.
of them. If
Now
he's
there's a
that,
couple. Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say there's a couple of plot points, and shout out to you know what, I was watching Ripper and the Silverback today, Ass Hill Babyface. He was pointing it out, like even though I did not agree with most of his stuff, I had to give him some points on like like it was kind of annoying that like the crowd did not care that Superman lost his first fight or whatever. Like that's like one of those plot points of like like Superman lost his first fight. Like you would think that would be like on people's mind or whatever. But you know what? I don't think it's too much of a big deal per se or whatever. But I can understand why people are not like that. Like
Well,
it's
see,
yeah,
that's the thing. We don't know if he's lost any other fights. This is the first fight we see in the movie, but maybe it is more common for this Superman to maybe get beat up like a bit more than he usually does. So that wouldn't
yeah,
bother me because honestly, right, let's be real, right? It's better to see a more grounded, down to earth Superman that is a bit
yeah,
more relatable than the almighty God that is just kicking the crap out of everything. Like, he has to build to that. Remember,
yeah.
he is established as Superman right now, but it's
He's only
still the
been three
early
years.
years.
Yeah, 3 years.
So,
And Batman's been for 10. And then of course Wonder Woman, she's still on Themyscira, and then you got the Lanterns doing their thing. I mean, this is why I just said like this DCU is a little bit unique or whatever because it's already established. There's a lot of things that already happen or whatever. And we're skipping origins. We're going straight to the main event. So once again, is it the best start? I think it's a solid start. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest start of the DCU or whatever.
mhm.
I think we're repeating ourselves again. It's just like the pacing. Oh, and another thing. James Gunn, thank you for making women hot again. Okay, like we finally got hot women again. Like thank you. Okay, we finally got hot women because you know what? In the MCU, everything has just been like blue balls, man. Like we ain't getting nothing. Like nothing to look at, nothing to see at, nothing to walk across the screen at. Nah, man. Like everybody's just like being cuckold, and like the woman has to take a charge or whatever. Nah, my boy Jimmy Olsen was a player. Like all the women were looking good in their skirts and their freaking like high heels and all of that, man. So you know what? Thank you, James Gunn. Thank you. Yeah, like you gotta give credit on that, man.
Fair enough. Fair enough. See, for me, I'm at the point now where I think I'm over the overcritical analysis of these movies. I think I've gotten so burnt out because of how much hate movies are getting these days, to the point where I'm starting to look at it more from an enjoyable aspect and a comic accurate aspect. The fact that that was
Yeah,
nailed for me, I'm happy. Like
yeah,
for me, it's a great start. It's probably not the best start, but it's still a great start. And
yeah,
arguably, this has made me more excited to see what they do with the rest of the characters. And not
yeah.
just that as well. It's that, let's be real, Marvel ain't been shit for a long time. When Spider-Man drops, that's probably the only movie I'm going to go see. And if they get that wrong, which I'm getting more and more worried by the day, because for some reason, as much as I
I
love
already
Tom
gave up
Holland,
on X-Men. I already gave up on X-Men, and they ain't even there yet.
as much as I love Tom Holland, my biggest concern is, even though it's in my hometown, why are they filming in Scotland if it's supposed to be a New
Tax
York
write-off.
movie?
Tax write-off, man.
And I'm
But
like, yeah. And not just that, it's the same with like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like when I saw that Fantastic Four trailer, I might be the only one, but I cringed a lot. I was like, oh no. They don't look like the characters a lot of them. Like the only one that looks realistic is the Thing, and that's because, well, he's just CGI.
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, like, don't get me wrong, I love the guy that's playing the Human Torch, he was great as Eddie Munson and all that in Stranger Things, but he does not suit blonde hair. It looks like a terrible bad wig, and I'm like, oh. And then
looks like he sounds like a flamer.
yeah, and then not just that. Let's be real. Why the hell is Pedro Pascal in the fucking Fantastic Four? That makes no sense. He doesn't look
You know
like
he was the
Doctor Reed. He's
he was like
Doctor.
the fourth person to they asked to get the role. Like they asked
Yeah,
three other people.
if you were fourth, that goes to show you that you're not suitable for the character, my guy. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, people say they don't have to look like the character, like pinpoint. Yeah, I know that, but they have to have some resemblance. And the dude is just notably playing a more souped up version of himself, if you think about it. And even at that,
Yeah,
he's not like in the trailer for that movie. He's like, I don't know, and everybody's like freaking out because the smartest man on the planet doesn't know something. I'm like, that's not Reed Richards. What the hell is this? And so going forward, I'm more excited for DC than I am the Marvel franchise, and that is what I was striving for with these movies. Is
yeah.
that I'd have more excitement for DC for a change. So they've won me over. Yeah, I know a lot of people can have issues with the movie, but I'm actually quite happy with this. And yeah, people are gonna say their piece. People are gonna say that, oh, we don't about. They're not gonna say you, but they're gonna say, oh, you don't know what shit you're talking about. I'll be like, kill whatever. I don't care. I really don't care at this point because
Because the thing is, Adam, let's just keep it real. The superhero genre is not doing good like it used to be. Like, it's
nope.
just not whatever. Like, it starts with the millennials. That's just the facts. However, Gen Z ain't don't care about superheroes. They just don't. However, I've like I used to work in I used to work in a pop culture shop or whatever. And dude, these little kids do not care about they do not care about Superman. They don't care about Batman. They don't care about Spider-Man. Not all of the kids, but the majority of the kids that are coming up and teenagers, they're into some anime, bro. Like they're anime heads or whatever. They don't care, but they don't care about none of our
I,
pop culture stuff that we grew up with, and I don't blame them either. I just
yeah,
don't. However, it's like
I can agree because ironically, my entire movie theater was mostly filled with old people and like people that would have been
hmm
around when Christopher Reeves was doing Superman, or like early 30s, maybe our age, like people. Everybody, I think I saw like maybe one or two kids, but it just seemed like their family was out on a movie
Yeah.
going, and they just went along for the ride, sort of thing.
Yeah, because they're like, when I used to be working at at my job or whatever, like everybody was saying like, "Hey man, did you see the latest episode of Demon Slayer?" I was like, "Have you seen that latest episode of Jujutsu Kaisen or whatever?" Or like, the new Dragon Ball at that time or whatever. I mean, listen, I'm an anime fan. I'm a hardcore anime fan. I got a whole anime wall right here or whatever, and I'm happy, but I'm also a little sad too because superheroes built superheroes built the anime. Like, you know what I'm saying? They literally took our stuff and
This
told
is the prime example of it. Look, right
yeah.
here is a Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta from GT, right?
Hmm.
This form oddly looks like a very souped up, well, superhero, doesn't it? Some people love this version of him. Some people hate him. So
Yeah.
just depends. I like it. I thought it was a cool transformation, but a lot of people hated
Yeah.
it. So there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like most of these kids, and once again, I do not blame them or whatever, but they're going to anime, TikTok, and YouTube for entertainment. They do not care about our pop culture stuff anymore. That's just the facts of life or whatever. Like,
Yeah, they don't have great collections like mine behind me right there, you know.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. So like people like, TCK, Evan, RJ, Darius, like, they're kind of the minority, man, when it
They,
comes to
they,
like,
they, they are what we like to call a dying breed.
yeah, like they're the minority, like caring about like, Cobra Kai and stuff like that, or like, film, like foreign films and stuff. Like most of
Showing
their
that
generation.
money.
Yeah, most of their generation right now, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, they're in once again anime, TikTok, YouTube, and maybe the occasional Netflix series. They do not care about Marvel. They do not care about DC. They do not care about Disney. They don't care about Star Wars. And that's just sad to me, man. Like that breaks my heart a little bit.
There's a
So
reason why someone's teaching a certain someone to have the better taste in things.
yeah.
But yeah, no, because like for me, it's like one of those things. It's like going forward, I understand that, but it's sad to see pop culture dying the way it is. Everything's a rehash of a rehash. We're finally
Mhm.
getting comic book accurate stuff, and there's still someone in the fucking back of the room complaining, fuck, no, this is not my Superman. This is not my. Like, shut the fuck up. Can we just enjoy something for once now? Like,
Yeah.
everybody's became so, like, everybody our age has become such a critic, and all the younger generations don't give a shit to the point where it's harder to enjoy them now. It's harder to, like,
Yeah.
when you were younger and the new Harry Potter, the new Star Wars came out, you all rushed to the cinemas. You were so excited. It was something great. It was
Mhm.
fantastical. You don't get that
Yeah.
same feeling with movies these days. You don't.
Yeah.
I wish you did, but you don't. Like, and that's why I
Hell.
like this movie because it gave me that, like, oh wow, I can
Yeah.
actually enjoy it and then switch off.
Yeah. I even told the boys, I said like, I'm gonna even take off my glasses on this one. The fact that I fucking enjoyed this movie should be like a miracle in itself.
Hmm. Well, that's what I'm
So
saying. I arguably like it one of the most, and people usually know what I'm like with opinions. I usually don't like things just as much as you don't. So if the people that usually criticize these things are actually enjoying it, it goes to tell you that there's something good about it.
yeah. So uh, yeah, we we gotta we Hollywood. All I just gotta say is, man, y'all guys need to step your game up, man, because
Mhm.
you lost the old generation, and then the new generation doesn't care about your movies. I want the DCU to do good, but it's not gonna do good if you keep on putting men down, like if you keep on having these female characters put men down. Two, like if you just always keep it political and stuff, which thank God the whole entire cast did not get into the political game. except at the end. But you know, I don't even count that for the most part. Um, and another thing, it's just like you keep on you're not making anything new, and you keep on rehashing stuff. That's how you're gonna kill your industry or whatever. That's how you kill your industry. You
Stop
know,
playing it
that's
fucking safe, right? Learn from the
yeah,
video game industry. They are laying off so many people right now because they keep rehashing the same games, they keep remastering things, and it's not working because the sales are not going to go through the roof because people are going to be like, yes, this looks good. Or it's a half-assed remaster and it's just like the same as a half-assed remake. We don't want to see
yeah,
it. We don't like if we want to see a more edgier crew, we'll just watch the sequels that were followed up from the original crew that no one seems to talk about. Or the
yeah.
same with The Lost Boys, one of the most phenomenal movies of all time, has like 3 sequels that were fucking garbage. It's like, if you can't figure out a way to start getting people back into the cinema, your
Like
streaming's not going to
Sinners.
work. Streaming's not going to
Yeah,
work for you. So many more
yeah,
people these days are going back to this because yous are failing as a company
yeah.
and failing as a business strategy in a whole.
The fact that Sinners, like you know, it made its money back and it did good, and you know, unfortunately, worldwide it didn't do so hot. You know, but you know that's because of the different cultures and stuff like that. But for the most part, Sinners should not be the only new franchise that you made. You know, there should be other there should be new things that kids just say like, "Hey, man, like this is our stuff. This is like you know a Stranger Things. That's the that's Generation Z, and they love Stranger Things or whatever. That's their thing. Or Wednesday, that's their thing, sort of, or whatever. But you
Yeah.
know,
I don't know. I saw like I was okay with like Wednesday season 1. Saw a trailer for season 2. I was like, nah. So it just
I'm what
depends.
I'm ready for Wednesday season 2, man. Like that's my girl Jenna Ortega. I want her to do good. She's like you know, she's actually humble or whatever. She's not like that old girl that did Snow White. What's her name? Can't even think of her. Rachel Ziegler. Yeah, she was crazy. You know,
Yeah.
like you know.
Nah, I totally get you. So I know I've said my like review rating, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Danny, what are you giving it?
It's a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 or whatever. Like, you know, once again, too much comedy. Like it's once again, I like James Gunn's work or whatever, but also I'm not a James Gunn glazer because I didn't even think me personally, I thought Guardians 2 was pretty garbage or whatever. But you know, but that's when that was in his prime or whatever. This movie has its problems, and the thing was, this movie was fun, and that's what movies need to go back to. Is like we got to have fun with movies again. So
Mhm.
that's why I gave it a 7.5 out of 8 out of 10 or whatever. It has its problems, too much comedy, way too much pacing, and like you know a couple of Laurel things that I did not like or whatever. For me personally, those are small little nitpicks, but for the most part, I still highly recommend you guys go watch it. Go watch Superman or whatever. Like you know, let it make its money, and yeah, the that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I agree. Like for me, yes, like see for me, like it's funny. I can agree on certain things, but for me, they weren't as big of an issues as for other people. I think this is the first movie that I ironically am giving a pass because it actually made me have fun for a change in it, and it was refreshing, and it wasn't political in the slightest, other than politics in the movie. Just like how I've always stated, if you're gonna have politics, have it in the fucking movie, so it makes sense that they're talking about politics instead of just randomly coming out of nowhere with a speech about politics. It's
Yeah,
actually it's to help the story move along. And just
yeah,
not that. I'm just happy I finally saw a comic book accurate Superman for once. It's great. Like, finally, we got there. Yeah,
yeah,
there's a few different issues, but other than that, he's the most accurate we've got so far. And I'll take that over anything any other day because I'm getting sick and tired of people complaining that they're not comic book accurate. We get it. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, I don't like this character take. Just be real. You didn't get into Superman until Henry Cavill played him. And even at that, you stuck to that. And that's all you like. That's fine if you're a normie. We've said it on the Kings of Pop Culture. If you're an army, it's okay. But don't go around parading like you know everything about the character when you only learned
Yeah.
about them last week.
And
No.
even if you know about the character or whatever, like, I always encourage you just to keep an open mind and whatever. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, understand, once again, I understand that Christopher Reeves is always going to be up there. He's always going to be touching the sky, and like no Superman will probably like never ever ever touch his cape. Got it or whatever. But like sometimes I believe that your nostalgia will blind you from just having a good time or whatever, like,
Yep.
and not giving other Supermen a chance or whatever.
No,
It
I
happened with
agree.
Henry, and it happened with David Cornsweet. It happened to every Superman that came after Christopher Reeves. It's just like how we feel about Batman and uh, with Kevin Conroy. It's kind of hard to put a live action Batman against that one. It's like totally unfair or whatever.
Same
But
with Mark Hamill's Joker.
yeah, and Mark Hamill's Joker. It's kind of hard to do. It's kind of hard to do it. Like, other than Heath Ledger, like Heath Ledger is the only one that can like challenge Mark Hamill's Joker or whatever. I think you'd probably be okay with that, even though I know you don't like him.
Eh. Is what it is, isn't it? Like, I know people are gonna be like, "Oh," but I don't care. Right at the end of the day, we all have our very favorite takes of a character. I don't care
Yeah,
if you think my opinion's wrong. Objectively, it's wrong. Like, shut up about that stuff. I don't care anymore. Right? I like what I
yeah,
like. You like what you like. Let's move on. Right? That's what we need to
yeah.
start doing
But
with movies because too many people are.
yeah,
So,
no, I got you. I agree.
anyway, this has been the dynamic duo, and I hope you did enjoy this video. There shall be videos in the incoming future, maybe less frequent, maybe a bit more frequent. I don't know, but anyway, to see that, so press the little subscribe button. Maybe you like. I don't know. Fucking do the YouTube stuff. Anyway, I have been Kanan Wolf, and that has been MMA King Crease Jr. And we shall see you guys in the next video.
Peace.